स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं मह्यं ददाति स पदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सागना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनाश्रयितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सागना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमपदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपीशा गोपिका कान्ता श्रीराधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गे श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे yes Hare Krishna yes so we'll continue of chapter number 14 Nana, is the three modes of material nature. As it begins from the 13th chapter, there is a bija vakya. Nana. That bija is what? The bhunkte, the enjoying mentality of the jiva, Nana, is the seed, and the seed of that enjoying mentality is nourished by the three modes of material nature. So now in the 14th chapter we are. So we read in the previous sessions, we understood about the characteristic of the sattva guna, rajoguna, and tamoguna. And now, yes, so this we saw in the previous class. Uh, the characteristic of sattva guna. Nana. So what is the characteristic of sattva guna? Sattvam sukhe sanjayati raja karmani bharata jnanam avritya tu tama pramade sanjaya yuta. Nana. That sattva guna one become conditioned by the happiness, and the rajoguna one become conditioned by the fruity actions, and the ignorance the knowledge get covered. And so we saw this that how in the why in sattva actually what happened that one feel happy, how he feels happy that he understand that I know more than others. But the problem with the sattva is what that he cannot free himself from the this material world, and it is just like the a car which follows all the rules regulation of the traffic, but it does not go, it just roams around in the city only. It does not go, there is no particular destination is there. It is like mode of goodness. Then there is a mode of passion. So we saw in the previous slokas that how in mode of passion there is a raga and trishna is very strong. Uh, and mode of ignorance, it is a mostly in the distress. And either person is acting in a self-destructive way, or he is creating problem for the others also with that. Like sometime you might have seen the some people, they torture their own bodies, cutting the part of their own bodies and all that, you know, or taking different kind of intoxication drugs and all that, you know. So this comes into the mode of ignorance. Like sometimes some people are in too much stress, and they want to get free from the stress, they go for horror movies. And so then that is the tamoguna. And now in the further sloka number 10, it is there how all these three modes they compete with each other. And while there is a competition between these modes, and what is the principal characteristic of the particular mode? So identifying the modes dominating us, how we can identify in our self that which modes at this time is acting upon me. Lana. While there is a when the competition between the different modes is going on. So this sloka number 10, then we saw there is a how uh, the good competition between the modes. Sometimes the mode of goodness is very prominent. Sometimes the passion is very prominent. Another time the ignorance is very prominent. You know? So all of us can see that. You know? Like just for example, when we start chanting in early morning time, it may happen that initially we may be in goodness. You know? And some of us immediately may go to ignorance. Is it not? After one round or two round, immediately one start feeling sleepy. So from goodness directly he landed to the ignorance. Lana. Or somebody may go to the passion. Lana. Means thinking, making the plans for the whole day. Lana. So that's why you'll find this variations of the modes while doing any activity you see, even chanting you see, or the hearing you see. Lana. So uh, this competition will be there always. Like for example, if you're chanting, we are doing in the chanting time. Uh, Initially, we are very attentive and we are able to chant very nicely. But then one round or two round after that, we feel very much sleepy. So that is ignorance. Now, ignorance is the lower mode. How to overcome any lower mode? By coming to the higher modes. By the help of higher modes, one can overcome the lower modes. So what one can do? One can immediately get up and start a little bit walk and chant. You By that, what will happen? The walking and chanting is just in ignorance or in just sleepiness. What is doing? He's not at all uttering the Hare Krishna mantra only, but in the passion or is in walking, he's uttering the mantra, although he may not be hearing the mantra. So this is the better than the ignorance or better than sleepy chanting. So that's how when there is a competition between the different modes is going on, and it is very important how to go from the lower modes to higher modes. If uh, uh, we can overcome the lower modes by the help of higher modes. है ना? So when we feel that I am going in ignorance, then one can take help of being in passion. है ना? So then like that one can overcome. है ना? But the question comes here, like I put up in the highlight. Okay, many time what happen? This competition between the different modes is going on. है ना? Like chanting time, I am feeling sleepy. So there is a tendency of what? Okay, let me go and take rest sometime. After that, I'll feel very fresh, and then I'll come and chant. No, is it not? So there is a question: is that do should I fight with the modes, or should I get carried away by the modes? And anybody has any opinion what one should do?
Fight.
Should I? Okay, obviously it is fight. And can you anyone would like to share any incident you felt in your life that you just got carried away by that modes and then later on you realize that my God, I've done something wrong. I could have fought. in
प्रभुजी
that situation.
ये प्रभुजी का कैंप चल रहा था तो उधर 11 बजे से क्लास था। तो उसके बाद प्रसाद लेने के बाद चैंटिंग करा थोड़ा सा, फिर सोचा कि थोड़ा सा रेस्ट कर लेते हैं, जिससे क्या होगा कि हम क्लास के लिए थोड़ा सा एनर्जाइज हो जाएंगे। लेकिन पता चला वो रेस्ट लेने गए और फिर सोते ही रह गए, फिर पूरा क्लास चला गया, फिर 12 बजे आँख खुलती है, तो ऐसा।
Ah, Jai Yogendra for sharing. Yes, Akash, one more devotee can say.
Ji, the same thing is like when sometimes in morning program mind cheats and we feel sleepy, then ऐसा लगता है कि ठीक है थोड़ा सो के आ जाते हैं। लेकिन जब सोने चले जाते हैं प्रभु जी, तो फिर होता क्या है कि चैंटिंग हो नहीं पाता है, और उसके बाद फिर पूरा दिन हमारा कॉलेज और जॉब में चला जाता है। फिर रात को याद आता है अरे जब बचा हुआ है, तो फिर याद आता है इससे अच्छा है वहां ना सोने गया होता जब करना।
Uh, so what happen when we fight with the modes? What happen? We get purified. Naina. But if we get carried away by the modes, Naina, then purification will not take place. Naina. So that's why very important that when this competition of the different modes is going on, and when ignorance and passion is very strong, then immediately we should fight with them and not just carried away with them. Then we saw that generally in goodness, one is very contemplative and active. This is the characteristic. The passion, one is active but not contemplative. Ignorance, neither contemplative nor active. That is ignorance. है ना? है ना? So now when this actually when we have to fight with the modes, है ना? So we need we can overcome the lower modes by the help of higher modes. है ना? So that's why it is very important that we need to choose consistently choose the mode of goodness. है ना? So like sometime what happened that we may feel okay, let me do this thing in this way. Then after some time the thought is coming, okay, let me do in this way. So we need to understand that that mode of passion is very strong in me, Anna, right now. So let me come to goodness. Anna. So we need to choose to come to mode of goodness. Anna. Consistently. If we do not choose, then we may get carried away. How we get one get carried away, or how one can choose, how one get carried away, we will see further. It will come here. है ना? So now 11 to 13 slokas that is describing when this conflict is going in between different modes, and what is a psychological condition of a person in a particular mode. Like when conflict is going on between the Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna, and at a particular time Sattva Guna is prominent. At that time, what will be the psychological condition of the person? So that has been mentioned here. And so we'll go further. सर्वद्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्याद् विवृद्ध सत्त्वमित्युता. Yes, someone can read translation.
The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge.
Yes. So goodness, what happened? In the goodness, one can experience himself that he is in goodness when all the gates of body are illuminated by the knowledge. है ना? So what does it mean? The Prabhupada says that in the mode of goodness, one can when see the things in the right position. One can hear things in right position, and one can taste things in right position. है ना? So one become cleans inside and outside. In every gate, there is a development of symptom of happiness, and that is the position of goodness. है ना? Like as a experience wise, I am telling, and like you, mm, all of you might have seen that when there is a Ekadasi is there and you have done some proper fasting and not full nirjala, but whatever level you you have done some austerity and you chanted good number of rounds. Next day morning, you will feel uh, your all the senses to be uh, little, or your thought process will be very clear. Is it not? Even your chant, you will be able to see that your chanting will be very nice. And, and even you see on bodily level also, you will feel more happy and joyful also. And, because that is Sattva Guna. But here, uh, what has been told, that prakasa upajayate. And in Sattva Guna, prakasa upajayate means, because in darkness generally you cannot see the things. Like you in night time you enters into some room, and but you cannot see the things on their locations, which things are kept where. But as soon as you switch on the light, you are able to see what things are where. है Now, technically, how we can understand this? So this has been, there is one statement which I am reading. So this we will understand. This is so wonderful. Senses are the door by which consciousness travels. है Means we perceive the things of the world through the senses. Is it not? Senses are the doors by which consciousness travel. So whatever the door, consciousness goes away. है Those choices brings the consequences. है When one is able to perceive the consequence, that means light is there. And how we can understand this? Like for example, it is as soon as Bhagavatam class got over, you went to the Prasadam hall. And in the Prasadam hall, there is a wonderful feast is made. And where nice pakoras, bhajis are there. And which doctor has told not to eat for you. And you know that you have eaten before and you suffered very nicely. And not nicely, miserably. You suffered miserably. Now, and is there कि when you see the pakoda, your consciousness is traveling through your ears and eyes, and you are able to perceive the pakodas and bhajis. And now seeing them, after seeing them, and you are able to remember the consequence of eating that. कि अगर मैं खाऊंगा तो क्या होगा मेरा? It means you are in goodness. You are not eating also with that. You are able to perceive the consequence of that, and then your action is according to that. That means one is in goodness. But many of the time we see that we are not able to see the consequence, or even we see the consequence, we get carried away. That is Rajoguna and Tamoguna. So that's what it has been told here. When one is able to perceive the consequence, it means the light is there. But you are not able to perceive the consequence, that means their light senses, the light is not there, the illumination is not there, that is not in goodness. Like that. Because light means what? One understand how should I act, how should not I should not act. Like that. But general time, many of the time what happen, we get carried away. And after eating, and after everything, after whole prasadam, when you come out of prasadam hall, then you may find, my God, I should not have eaten that. Like that. So that means we have already got carried away because of passion. And now you are able to see the consequence very nicely, and now you are one is lamenting. So now the goodness is there. But he got carried away by the passion, became prominent at that time. Like how many of you it had happened that you decided to fast, but by mistake you went into Prasadam hall in Ekadasi day, and then you forgot. With me, it happened. Or you sat with, I'll only eat some salad, but you got carried away with the eating whole prasadam. You know? So this is that. Or you decided, I'll not eat sweet, just little I'll take. You know? But then you got carried away with the taking up 2 glasses of sweet rice or kheer. You know? So this is the So that's how we can perceive. This is the one of the example I just gave, but there are many examples you can see in your life, you know, where our in the goodness, their light will be there. You will be able to see the consequence of that. But in the passion and ignorance, like you are walking on the road, you know, and one is seeing the some billboards, and that is uh, not proper. That the improper scene of some woman is there, you know. If one understand the consequence of, one is able to see the things according to Shastra, you know, and understand the consequence of that, then one will not get carried away. But one is not able to see the consequence, then one will get carried away. So when one is not able to see the consequence, when is in Rajoguna, you know, because in Rajoguna, the attraction between man and woman is very strong. You know? So that's what Vishwanath Chakra Thakur also says. And when the illumination or knowledge, real awareness of the things through the sound of Vedas and appear in all the doors such as ears, one should understand there is an increase in sattva through such symptoms of knowledge. You know? He is able to see things as it is, means according to Shastra. Now next, Lobha Pravaptir Arambha Karmana Asama Spraha Rajestani Jayante Viprade Bharatarshaba. Yes, someone can read.
O chief of the Bharatas,
Hmm.
when there intuitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop.
So this is the uh, uh, Rajaguna. Correct? So Prabhupada is writing that one is in mode of passion, that is never satisfied with his position, current position, and he has already acquired, and he anchored to increase his position. You know? Like you see, one is working in the job, some company, then he's always thinking that how can I jump to another company and have a more pay. And when my LPA will increase to, in college he is there, then he's thinking about when my CGPA will increase. When your company is there, then he's thinking about when my LPA will increase. And so he's always thinking about, he's not satisfied with the current position. No, no, like that. Like when he's earning 15 lakh per annum, he'll think that when will I have 30 lakh per annum? And although he's not satisfied with the current position of earning 15 lakh per annum, he will be very miserable. Why? Because his friend is getting 30 lakh, he's not getting. Got it. So this is Rajoguna. Then in Sattva, there is satisfaction is there. When Raja, satisfaction is not there. Then what is there? So Krishna is beginning the whole sloka with the Slobha. है ना? So we'll discuss about Lobhas. But then Lobha Pravritti Arambha. What is the meaning of Pravritti Arambha? Arambha means what? Arambha. You might have heard this word. Arambha means what? Start or ready. Pravritti Arambha means what? Is ready to work very hard, day and night. है ना? In Rajasa. हाँ. Karmana. है ना? Karmana means what? है ना? He performs the different kind of karmas. है ना? Asama is praha. है ना? So what is the meaning of asamaha? है ना? तो asamaha means uncontrollable. Ispraha means desire, because he has uncontrollable desire. So that's why Prabhupada writes here that if he wants to construct a residential house, nahi, हाँ, then he tries his best to have a palatial house, as if he would be able to reside in that house eternally. This is Loba, Prabhupada is describing. But then Asama Ispra is described here. That he develops a great hankering for sense gratification. Then there is a no end to sense gratification. And the sense gratification does not have any end. And it, the more you like, more one put the fuel into the fire, the fire will increase. It is like that. So there is no end to the sense gratification. And he always remained with his family in his house to continue the process of sense gratification. There is no cessation of this. All these symptoms should be understood characteristic of mode of passion. That is called asama ispraha. Asama ispraha also means what? Which cannot be calmed down. Now let us understand lobha. What is the lobha? Which is the one of the prominent characteristic of Rajoguna is means what? More, 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 more. है ना? और दिल मांगे more. That is Rajoguna. ना? When somebody want more, 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 and those more things, more is the things, है ना? The material things, the money and other things, then that is called greed. But when one want more sex life, more connection with more women's, then that is called lust. है ना? Like we see the current scenario, this, है ना? So what is the current social media is there, or what we social culture? The whole environment is like that. They are increasing this loba, you know, either it for the money or it may be for the woman, you know. And this is very important to understand. Okay, once uh, this I'll just put in another thing. So it is our choice. We should we get want to get carried away with this Rajoguna, and so generally we are forced to act as we choose to desire. And like for example, Nana, you are going, you are in a boat and you are uh, going in the boat in the river, and you are riding the boat. So then you are taking your boat. Then you find there is a one place. There is a three pathways coming, and the river get divided into three paths. The one path is very calm. Another is very lot of strong waves are there. Current is there, and then there is a third one is that which is too turbulent. है ना? Now once you decide which path to go, है ना, अभी आपके पास चॉइस है जब आप उस जंक्शन पे हो तो, लेकिन once you decided okay I'll go into the turbulent path, then your destination will be different. Once you have decided to go into the where the current is very calm, so your destination will be different. है. The same way, we all, as we choose to desire, once we are choose to desire in a certain way, then you will be forced to act in that. And like for example, somebody is, I was giving example on Prasadam only. है ना? So once you chose to desire to enter into Prasadam hall, you decided that you will fast on the Ekadasi day, but but you somehow or other you chose to desire to go to that Prasadam hall. Now what happens? Because as soon as you enter then what happen immediately? Other gunas acting upon you. Then you are forced to act. Then you are forced to eat, and your decision may get uh, your change. And so like that. So it is very important that what uh, way we are choosing. It means the what we have a choice to choose which uh, way to go. And it means what we all have a free will to choose to be in Sattva. We have a free will to be in Rajoguna also. So somebody may ask that do the modes changes our desires, है ना? क्या modes हमारी desires को change करती है ना? Yes, like they changes our desires contributively, है ना? But not in a decisive factors, है ना? Majorly they may change our desires, है ना? But not in a decisive factors. It means what? Like for I can give an example by which all of you can understand. Like a drunkard is there who is drinking the wine from many years and he's become drunkard. And as soon as you put the wine bottle in front of you, either whiskey or something, है ना? तो अभी क्या होता है कि वो जैसे ही whiskey को देखता है तो then है ना, he immediately get carried away. वो he now he cannot stop himself. He goes and drink it, है ना? His desire of drinking got increased, and now then he got carried away that particular mode, and then mode of ignorance, and then he started drinking. है ना? Now the thing is that है ना, कि if somehow or other he comes to this knowledge that अरे drinking is very thoroughly bad, he comes into contact with devotees, है ना? Then although he has drunk so many years, but now if got knowledge from the devotees and he sees the wine in front of him, wine bottle in front of him, then he uses his free will not to choose that, है ना? Then he'll not means he has that free will to not to choose that. Like for example, another example can be given. Somebody is the meat eater, and but when he comes to somehow or other, he goes to a slaughterhouse and he sees that how animals are killed there, and once then he decides that I will not eat meat, and we see that he stops the meat. He did not get carried away by his uh, that particular mode, and he has the free will to remain come to the higher modes, and so now he is able to decide that he will not eat the meat. Uh, and, so that's why तो somebody may ask this question, do the modes changes our desires? हाँ, चेंज कर सकता है काफी समय, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं कि वो it will always in thoroughly it may completely change and then one will be like a robot just carried away by the modes only. No, living entities has the free will given by Lord, and he can utilize the free will to come above the modes. I know. So then one may ask then uh, generally how our we choose our desires in our day-to-day life by the we choose our desires not only just through the modes or previous conditioning, but we choose our desires according to our intelligence. We get some knowledge and accordingly we choose the desire according to our free will, according to culture, what culture we are in, and the many other factors are there for the choosing the desire. And, is this clear, this concept? Anybody has any doubt, then we can discuss. Otherwise, Akash.
अरे तो जी थोड़ा सा ये समझ में नहीं है लाइक जैसे कि पहले हमने पढ़ा था इफ वन इज इन एनी मोड ही इज फोर्स टू डू दैट एक्टिविटी, तो यहाँ पे डिजायर वाला कैसे आएगा? लाइक प्रभुपाद जी भी एग्जांपल देते हैं कि अगर कोई
So what is there, na?
डॉग
once he chose to desire, then he's forced to act. Now we are thinking about, is the desire, do the modes changes the desire? Yes, mode changes the desire, but still Jiva has the free will. For uh, decisively, they don't change the desires. Jiva has the free will. They can not get changed by the particular mode. And the example also has been given. Like somebody is eating meat from the very long period of time. He's in when he sees the meat now, the general tendency will be what he want to eat meat. That is Rajoguna or Tamoguna. But now he choose that okay, I'll not eat meat. That free will he has. है ना? Yes, Saman Yadav.
तो जी प्रीवियस प्रीवियस वाले पे एक प्रश्न था, लाइक आपने बताया कि जैसे प्रसादम हॉल में हम लोग गए, तो प्रो जी उसमें देख के हम लोग कैरिड हो सकते हैं, लेकिन माइंड में प्रो जी ऐसा भी थॉट आ सकता है कि आज तो बहुत सेवा किया, तो ऐसा प्रो जी ऐसा माइंड चीट कर सकता है। तो इस केस में ये मोड ऑफ पैशन में आएगा या किस में आएगा प्रो जी?
क्योंकि आज तो बहुत थक गया मैं, आज मैं प्रसादम ले लूंगा। तो ये तो सी अभी इस पे डिपेंड करता है सिचुएशन पे, है ना? कि रियली आप प्रसाद लेने के बाद जाके सो गए फिर से 10 घंटा, है ना? तो देन इट इज डिफरेंट, है ना? तो नाउ लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल ओके आई विल टेक प्रसादम, है ना? और आई यू आर आस्किंग अबाउट व्हाट, एकादशी डे, और यू आर आस्किंग अबाउट इन जनरल?
यस प्रो जी, एकादशी डेज।
हाँ, okay, some seva has been given to me, and then I have to do seva, but I am feeling too much tired. I decided to fast, है ना? But I am feeling but the seva came up, and then we feel that okay, I'll not be able to really able to chant, है ना? So there is a uh, some practical things also has to be seen, that okay, really I'll not be able to chant, then okay, go and take honor little prasad, है ना? But my thing is what, we know that which what is uh, is hampering for us, है ना? And we decided that we will not take that, but still we go for it, है ना? So that is due to Rajoguna and Tamo, है ना? You take little prasad and do other thing, that will be in goodness only, है ना?
थैंक यू प्रो जी।
Hare Krishna, brother.
हाँ,
Prabhuji, like, miss, can we say, miss, like, the more we are in mode of ignorance, the more our free will got registered. Like, miss, the less we have access for free will.
more
We
we
are
are
in
in.
mode of ignorance, the less we
Hmm.
have access for free will.
हाँ, that is there.
So, Prabhuji, like, suppose that one is in mode of ignorance, and in the
Hmm.
that in NOD also comes ki if one commit any sinful activity, suppose he is in mode of ignorance, he has committed some sinful activity that create impressions. So
Hmm.
now he will commit more sinful activities. The resistance will be less. So then the cycle will goes on, like then he will not access his free will also. So then what is hope
Hmm.
for that?
The hope for that, that's why the hope is what, which somehow or other comes in the devotee's context or devotee's approach to the person, है ना?
But
So he
in each
gets this.
case, he will not appreciate devotees also, na, because he is in ignorance.
So that's why no, actually, not necessarily that he will not appreciate devotees. है ना?
Because
It
Prabhuji,
not like we were in passion and ignorance when devotees came to us. We did not appreciate devotees.
such a good.
Uh, and still we are in passion and ignore. Do we not appreciate devotees?
Yes, yes.
है ना? Getting not only the devotees comes, like I told about the meat eating, na. So like he was eating meat uh, regularly. Then somehow he went through the slaughterhouse. Then he got a shock immediately that knowledge. Understood. Then he decided, okay, I'll not eat meat. The people may go through different things in their lives. Somebody may go through some accident. Somebody may go through some meet some person, know, or somebody may go through some particular situations, and he may come to the proper understanding.
Yes.
है ना? So then he may decided to come to the goodness material platform. I'm talking about that. है ना? ठीक है?
Yes, thank you.
So we are talking here about the mode of passion. More there is a passion that will cause the agitation. है ना? How like sometime na person is very much disturbed, है ना, with the fast pace of life and the internet and all that. Then he want to become very peaceful. Like you see in Bombay, people go to Lonavala, है ना? And also in Delhi, people go to what are this what Kullu Manali and about, है ना? The Jammu Kashmir and all these places or Pahalgam. है ना? But then what happen? They go to those places and those places are very peaceful. But then peacefulness brings the agitation in them because they are too much agitated. That's why the man, because then you might have seen कि जैसे हम इंटरनेट के इतने आदी हो जाते हैं तो कहीं पे जाके अरे यहाँ पे इंटरनेट नहीं है, नेटवर्क नहीं आ रहा है. Getting, so that is what is talking about. So sometimes more passion what happen, that freedom from agitation that cause the agitation. है ना? The freedom, the things which gives the freedom from agitation, that only causes the agitation. है ना? Like in our terms as devotees terms, we can understand some devotee. Uh, Sometimes we feel that okay, बहुत सेवा है, अभी तो बहुत सेवा कर लिया, अभी बैठ के साधना करूंगा. अभी 3-4 दिन कुछ सेवा नहीं, बैठ के भी सिर्फ साधना करूंगा. एक दिन करते फिर दूसरे दिन बोलते अरे कोई सेवा नहीं है ना? आई नीड मोर सम सेवा टू डू, है ना? Because in we are most of the time we are in passion, है ना? So then what happen, we cannot do sadhana that much. We do the reading for 1 hour, 2 hours, but we cannot sit for 5-6 hours and do the readings by own. And we cannot hear for, so that freedom from the agitation that causes the agitation to us. So that is mode of passion. But in mode of goodness, not agitation is not there. But in sometimes it may happen that somebody is in person is mode of goodness, but is going into environment where passion is very strong. Even though one may be in goodness, but one will get agitated. So one should be very, very careful. Then, so, although a person is in goodness, but it goes to that environment where only the what we say people who are beyond the moods, or they or beyond the moods are very strong in their bhakti. They may go to that passionate place and not get agitated. And we can see the Prabhupada as a being a pure devotee. He went to such places like New York and all this Manhattan, you know, and so many. Prabhupada went to one place on the one of the beach where all the people were naked. And, so Prabhupada told all of you enjoyed so much. So now you all of you understand that with this body, and if you want to enjoy, then you have to remove the clothes. Same way you want the real enjoyment, then you have to remove this. You cannot enjoy with this clothes of the body. You can get the real enjoyment through the soul. And when the soul get connected with the super soul, like this Prabhupada gives the whole lecture there. And so like that. So But in all of us case, somebody is in mode of goodness also. But if he goes to some environment which is very much passionate, then one will get carried away. One will get agitated. So as a devotee, we have to be very careful. You know? And passion means what? The people are very much passionate about their work, workaholic. You know? So they are so much they are into work, or they are so much workaholic that not only they have the time for their spiritual life but also for their mental life also. They can't give time to their families, they can't give the time to relatives, friends, and all that. You know? You know? So there was uh, in company, one of the company, they were praising all the employees. Ki, there's they praised the one employee who did not take a leave in last 7 years. He worked so hard for the company. This means what? He is viciously gripped in mode of passion, and that has been glorified. And people also say we are passionate about this, we are passionate about that, you know? And then we saw that how mode of passion that never satisfied for what one has. But Srila Prabhupada, we can see that busy does not. Sometimes we understand that passion means getting busy, you know? So this I was hearing that Srila Prabhupada was busy but not passionate, you know? Many of the time we become very passionate but not busy. How we get to know? And that we do a lot, but finally we end up in doing nothing. हम दौड़ते भागते बहुत कुछ करने की कोशिश करते हैं, but finally we see that we have done nothing or we have done very less. है ना? चाहे सर्विसेज देख लो या स्टडीज देख लो, है ना? अरे मैं आज दिन भर बैठ के तो 8 घंटा पढ़ा, है ना? बट देन यू फाइंड द ओनली वन चैप्टर आई रेड, दैट टू आल्सो 4 पेजेस, है ना? तो दैट इज दैट, है ना? So we are passionate in that case. And Prabhupada case that one. Now next, what is about the tamoguna? Aprakasho parvatescha pramado moha evacha tamasyatani jayante vivrade kurunandana. So Krishna is calling the Arjuna with the different names, Kurunandana and He Bharata. Why? Because Krishna is telling that, oh Arjuna, you are very great, but moods understand. The moods are very powerful. So you have to be very conscious not to get carried away by the lower modes. है ना? तो अप्रकाशो अप्रवृत्तिश्च. So what is there in tamoguna? Somebody can read this highlighted one also.
When there is no illumination, knowledge is absent. One in the mode of ignorance does not work by a regulative principle. He wants to act whimsically for no purpose. Even though he has the capacity to work, he makes no endeavor.
Hmm. If he acts, then he acts whimsically. है ना? He does not follow, है ना, the right authority, and then or he will not work only. That is tamoguna. है ना? So here it has been told the qualities is what? One is aprakaso apravrittischa, है ना? Aprakaso means what? In the sattva guna there is a prakas is there, but in tamoguna aprakas, है ना? And apravatich means what? Pravati means activity, apravati means inactivity, है ना? So it's just opposite to the what we say, the sattva guna and rajoguna. Then pramada, what is the meaning of pramada? Means madness, है ना? Like the madness, the example what we can understand, like one is called the mode of passion means what? There is attraction between man and woman is there, है ना? So that is sex life comes in the mode of passion in general. But when the mode of passion is mixed with the mode of ignorance, then you'll find another different forms of the sexuality will comes out. They are like distorted expressions of the sexuality. And the people get engaged into the artificial way of sex life. People get engaged into having the sex with animals and all these kind of things. These all are due to the tamoguna. You know? So this is called pramada. Uh, And which is nowadays it is increasing very much. You know? And that's why we can see the different forms and distorted forms of the sexuality is coming. Uh, so that's it means the society is going more and more into ignorance. And moha means what? Moha means I am this. Not just about moha about the spiritual identity, not just about a spiritual identity, but even one is having the moha of his material capacity also. It is about the material capacity, है ना? उसका जन्म बहुत गरीब परिवार में हुआ होगा और ही विल बी वेरी पुअर, है ना? कच्ची बस्ती में रह रहा होगा, लेकिन वो व्हाट ही विल थिंक, आई इन फ्यू डेज आई विल बिकम द नेक्स्ट अंबानी, है ना? वो ही विल और लाइक समटाइम्स हम स्टूडेंट यू माइट हैव सीन दैट वो 5 पॉइंटर या 4 पॉइंट वो फेल हो रहा है हर एग्जाम के अंदर, हर सेमेस्टर के अंदर, बट ही डिजायर विल बी व्हाट, है ना, कि टुमारो, है ना, आई विल बी द टॉपर्स, आई विल बी 10 पॉइंटर. दिस इज कॉल्ड मोर, है ना? तो दिस आल्सो इग्नोरेंस एक्चुअली. Now Krishna talks about what is the destination, है ना, when person dies in a particular mode. So quickly we'll see that. यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे, यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तो प्रलयं याति देहभृतः तदोतं विदां लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते. Yes, any devotee can read.
When one dies in the
When
mode of goodness,
when one
he
dies in the mode of
attains.
goodness,
Now both are silent. Anyone at least read.
When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure and higher planets of the great sages.
हाँ, तो what is the result of somebody being in goodness? That he attains to the higher planets, है ना? है ना? याति देह भृत, okay, लोकान अमलान, है ना? ना. So Prabhupada is telling that amalan means what? That though free from modes of passion and ignorance. Lokan means those planets which are free from the much of the modes of passion. They attain the higher planets. Now the question may comes that what is the meaning of being higher planets? Do they go to heavenly planet? है ना? Do they go to Janaloka, Tapaloka? Yes. So they it depend upon which level in goodness. Also there is a different categories of goodness is there, like goodness mixed with passion, goodness, uh, pure goodness, goodness mixed with ignorance, goodness mixed with passion, goodness, you know, or pure goodness in that way. But heavenly planets also, they are somebody may ask that does the heavenly planets are also in goodness? Yes, the heavenly planets are also in goodness in compared to the earthly planets. If we compare with the earthly planets, then they are in goodness. But if you compare the heavenly planet is compared to Brahmalok, है ना, तो it is a relative terms, है ना. So heavenly planets they are in goodness. Why? Then somebody may ask why heavenly planets are in goodness compared to the earthly planets? Because they follow the scriptures and they follow the authority of Lord Vishnu, है ना, है ना. But then why they are lower than the Brahmalokas and Janaloka, Tapaloka, these all places? Because they are not much into the austerities, but they engage into other things like so drinking somarasas and being with a lot of apsaras, है ना? तो like that. हाँ. So one dies, one leaves his body in the sattva guna. It depends upon that person. That which in sattva guna also has the spectrum. In that which level of sattva guna he left his body, accordingly he will attain that particular lokan planet. And now next, somebody in rajoguna, rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangi sujayate तथा प्रलयनस्tamasi मूढ़ा योनि सुजायते. तो रजोगुण and tamoguna both have been spoken here. Yes. Anyone can take?
When one dies in the mode of passion, it takes birth among those engaged in the fruity activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, it takes birth in the animal kingdom.
Hmm. So here it has been told, uh, somebody dies in mode of passion, then he takes birth among those engaged in the fruity activities. And mode of ignorance, then he goes to the lower kingdoms. Yes, read this per transfer.
Some people have the impression that when the soul reaches the platform of human life, it never goes down again. This is incorrect. According to this verse, if one develops the mode of ignorance, after his death, he is degraded to an animal form of life. From there, one has to again elevate himself by an evolutionary process to come again to the human form of life. Therefore, those who are actually serious about human life should take to the mode of goodness and in good association, transcend the modes and become situated in Krishna consciousness.
Hmm. So once, so here it has been talked about the what we say, uh, the concept of reincarnation. है ना? So there's somebody, how one is acting. Somebody is living his body in the passion, and then he will may uh, take birth among the human beings. But then somebody is acting in ignorance, then he may go to the lower species of life. है ना? So why Prabhupada is speaking here about that? है ना? That some people have the impression that when soul reaches the platform of human life, it is never gone down, because many of the religions they talk about it. What they say, the reincarnation is a progressive. कि एक बार आप ह्यूमन बॉडी में आ गए और एक बार ह्यूमन लाइफ में आ गए, then you don't go down. So even the Christianity, this is the understanding is that the reincarnation is progressive. है ना? This actually it was not there, but it has been modified over a period of time. है ना? That this reincarnation is a progressive. The reincarnation, but the reincarnation we can see according to this thing, that is not only progressive, but it is also regressive. Regressive means what? Okay, the one has come to the platform of human body, but one can also go down to the animal species also. है ना? Uh, so why? Because to facilitate, because the living entity want the particular living entity want to act in a particular way, and to facilitate his desires, and the Lord is giving the lower bodies. The nature is giving his the lower bodies, according to desires. So there is a full the how this manipulation in the Christianity happens, and those things are also. But now it's not much relevant. So we'll not discuss about that. But the many of the religions they talk about just that reincarnation is just progressive. But it's not progressive. If we don't act properly in this life, then one will go down to the lower species. है ना? Now Krishna is telling in sloka number 16, है ना, the intermediate result of being in a particular modes. This is the final result, okay, leaving the body. But what is the intermediate results? है ना? कर्मणा सुकृतस्याहो सात्विकं निर्मलं फलम रजसस्तु फलम दुःखम अज्ञानम तमस फलम. So सात्विकम, one remain in goodness. Thus, the phalam is what? Nirmalam, one feels purified. Rajasa phalam is dukkham, one became miserable. And tamasa अज्ञान फलम, अगर तमोगुण में रहता है तो व्हाट इज द फलम? अज्ञान, है ना, फुलिशनेस, है ना. तो हियर Srila Prabhupada speaks about that how people who are in ignorance, है ना, specifically, so they slaughter the animals, है ना. Yes, someone can read this highlighted one.
S- s- slaughtering poor animals is also due to the mode of ignorance. The animal killers do not know that in the future the animal will have a body suitable to kill them. That is the law of nature. Because of ignorance, people do not perceive that there is a complete state controlled by the Supreme Lord. Every living creature is a son of the Supreme Lord, and he does not tolerate even an ant's being killed. One has to pay for it. So indulgence in animal killing for the taste of the tongue is the grossest kind of ignorance.
Which, है ना. Can you tell the incident where one got punished due to killing an ant? Killing an ant. Huh?
Hare Krishna,
Anyone?
Prabhuji.
Huh?
Prabhuji, killing an ant. Remember another incident in which Yamraj had punished a person just because he
What
was
was his name?
हाँ with नहीं नहीं क्या ऋषि थे वो.
I think Mundak
हाँ
right?
मुंडक हाँ
Uh,
प्रभु शायद. So
and
during his
then,
childhood he was.
hmm, and then he got that punishment. So here Prabhupada also talking about the taking care of then animals specifically. He talks about the cows has to be taken care. Cows should not be killed, and also brahmanas has to be taken care. Namo brahmana devaya go brahmana etc. And at the last, then Prabhupada is telling about that the present human civilization, of course, grossly misled by mode of passion and ignorance. It is very dangerous. Is all nations should take care to provide the easiest process, Krishna consciousness, to save the humanity from the greatest danger. है ना? So you can see the urgency of Srila Prabhupada here. है ना? That the whole society is degrading to the passion by the passion and ignorance. है ना? So this is the dangerous is to all the nations should take care to provide the easiest process of Krishna consciousness. है ना? The life. So here in the passion also not much spiritual advancement is there, but in ignorance there is a no question of spiritual advancement. है ना? Why in the passion? Because in the passion there is a sangha, attraction between man and woman is very strong, and that attraction leads to the attachment, and that attachment leads to the misery. है ना? And that's so very difficult for one to make a spiritual advancement. है ना? About Baldev Vidyabhushan says that Rajas means what? Little happiness with abundance of grief. है ना? Like that. Okay, I think we'll end it here. Then we'll discuss further next class. So we discuss about one thing about the competition between different modes is that the what is the psychology of a person in a particular mode, and in that we saw that how uh, one is forced to act at what one chose to desire, you know? And then we saw that how desires, mm, yes, the contributive factor is there due to modes the desire changes, but that not only the modes may change the desire, the other factors also there, the free will is there, intelligence is there, and other uh, the culture, and there may be many more factors which can change our desire. Uh, and then we saw that and that how in the Rajoguna, this Loba means what one want more, more, more. And Pravati Aramba, One is endeavor to, one ready to endeavor very hard, you know, and one become very workaholic and not even care for the families and all that. And then we saw this the psychology of the different persons in the particular modes, and then we saw the destination, the different destinations according to one lives body in a particular modes. And then in the sloka number 16 we saw that how intermediate results of being being in a particular mode. Okay. In the last class I told about one thing, that in our in our day-to-day life, spiritual life, we want to come to goodness. There is a one solution is what, that we become daksha into what, in our basic eating, sleeping, meeting, depending, and then daksha in what, dealing. Right? But now, sloka number 19 onwards, there is a whole thing Krishna is speaking about how one can transcend these all three modes, right? And or come to goodness and then transcend all the three. So that we will discuss in the next class tomorrow. I hope it was relevant, and any doubt or concern like that, leave it with us. Hare Krishna. Jai
Puji,
Srila
like
Prabhu. Yes, ma'am.
one thing, Puji, like in goodness, it has been told ki we can see the things as it is. But Puji, like Mr. the 20 element knowledge we have seen Amanittam, Adamittam, and some Santi Marjava. So in that pride is also, but in goodness, if anyone is goodness, so he get this pride.
So see, when we talking goodness, na, so that time, uh, which context we are talking actually, because the good, the everything, these all modes are having the spectrum.
Mixing this, I mean, other modes, like in mode of goodness, other modes are also there.
And there is called material goodness, spiritual goodness. The difference is there.
The knowledge term is not referring to that 20 element.
When we are talking about that, there is a uh, uh, pride is there. Now, pure devotees and pure goodness, how their pride is there. So that means we are talking about material goodness level. But when that goodness comes, when overcome the goodness, that also becomes Visuddha Sattva. That is called transcendental goodness or spiritual goodness. Then the pride will not be there. So that transcending the modes is there, the further section, which we will read. Okay, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki.